Founded in 2016 by a localized team, Yalla was created to satisfy the underserved demands of the MENA market. Since then, we have built a loyal and highly interactive community by offering a healthy and engaging user experience that's tailored to local cultures. In the second quarter of 2020, our platform's average MAUs exceeded 12 million. Every day, each user spends an average of over 4 hours on the platform, and more than 400 million rounds of Yalla Ludo games were played in the second quarter of 2020. And Yalla's first mover advantage, deep understanding of the local market, and mission to serve the users of MENA means we're strongly placed to benefit from the estimated potential market of over 600 million users. Our aspiration is to build the most popular destination for online social networking and entertainment activities in MENA. And we're ready to deliver. Gathering all, Yalla.
Hi everyone, welcome to Single Value. So today we're going to look at Yalla. This is a company that looks incredibly interesting. As you would have seen by that video, they specialize in a social media app and also do a gaming app as well. And they are focused on the Middle Eastern and the Northern African region. And that is an area, as they said, that this is an area that not a lot of companies are focusing towards. Like if you're Facebook, Instagram, you're not really building your platform towards a specific region. You're just building it for the whole world. And the thing is, the Middle East and particularly around North Africa as well, there is a lot of specific values that people there hold that is quite different from the Western world. So hence why, this platform is showing that it can succeed if it tailors to those values, and it is doing an incredibly good job. So if we look at the financial numbers, we will see right here that the revenue numbers grew from 42 million to 63 million, which was a 50% growth from 2018 to 2019. But what is more incredible is the profit figure that they made. For 2018, they made a $20 million profit on 42 million, and for 2019, they made a 28 million profit on 63 million. And you can kind of see that as things just grow up their revenues, the margins are so good that the profits just continue to grow with it. They don't really have a big marketing expense, which is sometimes surprising because you kind of expect with a growth company that the marketing expense should be through the roof. But they're using the best marketing of all, and that is word of mouth, which is free, but incredibly strong. So if we look at the marketing expense, they went from 5.6 million to 8.2 million. So not really an incredible jump, whereas their revenues jumped from 42 to 63. And yeah, that is, I really like the balance sheet of this company in terms of its finances. The cash position it holds 17 million, and that would jump to 45 million. So you can kind of see that, yeah, like balance sheet is pretty good. And yeah, like not a lot of debt at all. So total liabilities, 4.4 million, 4.4, 8.3. So in terms of that, completely okay. Profitable company, nice growth from 2018 to 2019. And for the 6 month from 2019 to 2020, it went from 26 to 52 million. Around 100% growth. So those numbers are really nice as well. And net profits went from 11.4 million to 25.19 million. So you can kind of see a really nice growth, and also a really nice one thing, like the tax expense is actually really low. But I guess that's to do with their region that they operate in. They benefit from low taxes. They have incredible growth. Their expenses are low. So what's not like about this company? Well, I can think of one really big point not why you might not be interested in a company like this. It is Chinese owned. So the problem that the US had with TikTok could be also a problem here. So I want you to be, wary of that thing that, hey, that US went after TikTok because they feud with China also. While you may not have that same, point with the Middle East, because they might not have that same feud with China that they might take it out on Yalla. But of course, we have to see how things go. As we can see, anything that gets really big starts to have some political intervention, because if you're a politician, you're most threatened of, a company trying to take your power, and no politician wants to let go of power, and governments are going to really come in if this company grows too fast and too quick and too big. But of course, I think currently it is all right. In terms of user growth numbers are so amazing. In 2018, the numbers were, they were okay. Like, they went from 2 million, and in that space of 3 months, their users increased 100,000. So if you go, I increased my users by 100,000, you might feel actually happy because that's some nice progress. And you go another 100,000 3 months later, and then also you increase 300,000 another 3 months later. So you can kind of see that the platform kind of builds with critical mass. You go from 100,000 increases to 200,000 increases, and then all of a sudden you've gone by about a 500,000 increase. And then after that, 3 months later, you're increasing by 1 million users. So you can kind of see, like, as they grow larger and larger, it just grows with critical mass. It's like a snowball that it just goes larger and larger. And of course, as you expect with this year, with COVID, it really just like forced everyone to stay at home. What do people do at home? They want to talk to their friends and family. They're going to download a social app, and you're going to use the one that your friends and family are using the most, and it happens to be Yalla. And the users skyrocketed to 6 million users in March, and then after that it went from 6 million to 12.4 million. So imagine what the company must be thinking at that stage with that incredible growth. They must not have believed what they're seeing at that stage. So yeah, like you can see the numbers, they're growing so well in every category. And with their third quarter report, those numbers also continue to grow, but not as quick, because I guess people got let out, again, so they weren't really stuck inside. They could see their friends and family, and the user growth was, monthly active users was 14.3 million, which is still about a 2 million increase from June. But actually the most important thing is that they didn't actually lose users. So as people just continue to use the platform to connect with their friends and family, and they're also adopting social media, the beautiful thing about operating in that region is social media is still such a new thing, because of that in that region people hold certain values. Platforms like Facebook just really doesn't cater to them in such a way, and also that one's really public in a sense that people do like to have an app where it's more private, and Yalla does have that setting about it. It kind of reminds me of like a WeChat type of app, but if you don't know WeChat, the closest one you'd probably be with like WhatsApp. So you can imagine, like this is an app that is it's doing really well, and it's tailored to people's and their values, and hence why the adoption rate is going really well. Revenue numbers was for the third quarter was 33.8 million, and it's a 90% increase on the prior year. And the revenue was generated 30 million was from chatting services, and 3.5 million was from game services. But I'm going to show you some interesting statistics about the user group, and it's going to be really, really eye-opening for you right after this. So in terms of their net profits, it was about $15.5 million, which is another, decent number. Like, they're growing their profits at such a good rate that, in terms of risks, like literally them being a Chinese-owned company is the biggest risk. I'm not even worried that they'll run out of money, because they're such a profitable company. In terms of losses, they did show a 31 million loss in terms of accounting terms, but if you take away the share-based compensation, it ended up being positive at 15.5. And you can't imagine, since this company was coming onto the public markets, it probably did issue a lot of, like, I guess, share options to their employees. And yeah, the employees were well rewarded for doing so well for this company, especially how, managing to help the company grow from 6 million to 12 million users for those 3 months. So yeah, like, it's quite phenomenal. In terms of number of paying users, it jumped close to 900% to 5.1 million. So that you can kind of imagine, just for the third quarter, it's managed to jump so quick that going forward, this is going to be an extremely, extremely profitable and lucrative company. Hence why I look at the valuation of 2.67 billion. And yeah, I think it's extremely cheap for what this company is achieving. But of course, I don't think a lot of people know this company. Hence why it's still under the radar, even though it's increased well over 200%. So if we look at the paying user numbers, they jumped from 510,000 to 5 million. And the breakdown of this was 493,000 to 1 million paying users, and they went from 17,000 paying users on the gaming platform, which is called Yalla Ludo, and that was jumping to 4 million. So there's actually more paying users on the gaming side than the chatting side. So hence why I kind of see that gaming component being the larger component going forward. Even though the chatting services is generating the majority of the revenues right now, I do see that gaming side slowly increasing as time goes. And yeah, it just shows that incredible amount of potential that this company can have going forward. And also, yeah, like, as we can go from monthly active users, it jumped from 3.1 to 14 million users. And for the chatting services, it went from 2.7 to 5.5. So when you actually break down this number, it was actually the gaming side that it did the best. It jumped from 393,000 to 8.7 million in terms of monthly active users. So now the gaming side of it is actually much, much more bigger than the chatting service side, even though the chatting side was the majority, the much, much bigger component in 2019. Hence why I say that the gaming side is going to perform really well going forward into the future. And in terms of what the CEO said, in the third quarter, we delivered a robust group performance, further strengthening our position as the pioneer voice-centric mobile social networking and entertainment platform in MENA, which MENA stands for Middle Eastern North African region. And I think if those aren't convincing numbers to you, I don't know what is, because yeah, like, those numbers are phenomenal. And yeah, I'm probably just looking at these numbers, and I don't believe no one's really, like, raving about this company. Like, it seems like a company that's still really well below the radar, even though the numbers are extremely, extremely good. Fourth quarter revenues are expected to be 35 to 36 million, though I think they're going to probably outperform that, because I think such a system just builds with critical mass, and those numbers will continue to look even better as they go forward. But even they perform at this rate, that is an 81 to 86% increase on the prior year. And at the cash position was 75 million at the end of September the 30th. So everything is really well maintained. It's profitable, it's high growth, it's in a category that's probably not receiving as much competition as you would think, even though there is some very, very large social media platforms around the world. This company is showing that, yeah, it's in a category of its own. I think 2.67 billion is extremely cheap, particularly if you hold for the long run and you see those growth numbers continue to grow much more stronger, particularly the revenues. Like, their acquisition of users is extraordinary. That as they continue to go further and further, as users continue to use the app more, they can spend more on developing it, and they're going to get more of their friends and families using it, then yeah, things just build in momentum for such a company. And yeah, it can really begin to dominate in that region, as you kind of think about social media apps. Like, you have WeChat dominating in China, you have Kakao Talk dominating in Korea, you have Line doing very well in Japan, you have Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp doing really well around the world, Snapchat doing really well, and particularly in Western countries. Yeah, and you've got Pinterest as well, Twitter and yeah, basically those are all your apps. And now we've got Yalla, which is probably the most exciting one, the fastest growing one. So hence why there's a lot of things that are compelling that I think that it's definitely worth taking a small position in this one, because I think the future of this company looks extraordinary, except the whole political risks around them being a Chinese-owned company. Apart from that, really like this company. Let me know what your thoughts are, because I'm always interested to hear your thoughts, particularly when I look at my own thoughts. I think this is such an extraordinary company, whereas someone else's thoughts might be this is not a great company, or maybe you agree with me, but I'll never know unless you tell me. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments. Until then, good luck investing, everyone.